Iran foreign minister says progress made in nuclear talks with U.S. in Geneva. José Jerry, Peru's ousted president, was one of the world's youngest heads of state. U.S. envoys juggle two crisis talks, raising questions about prospects for success. Taliban frees 3 Pakistani soldiers in Saudi-mediated move. Iran and the United States have reached an initial understanding on key guiding principles during nuclear talks in Geneva, though Iranian officials caution that a final deal is not yet within reach. Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said both sides exchanged ideas and agreed on a general framework, adding that the negotiations have created what he described as a new window of opportunity for a lasting solution. The indirect talks, mediated by Oman, included U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. Oman's foreign minister noted that significant work remains, but confirmed the two sides left with clear next steps. Global markets reacted swiftly, with oil prices falling after the announcement, easing fears of a potential regional conflict where the United States has recently increased its military presence. Tensions remain high. Iran temporarily restricted part of the Strait of Hormuz during military drills, while Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei warned that any attempt at regime change would fail. Washington and Israel continue to suspect Iran of pursuing nuclear weapons, an allegation Tehran denies, insisting its program is strictly peaceful. Major disagreements persist. The United States wants broader negotiations that include Iran's missile program, while Tehran says it will only discuss nuclear limits in exchange for sanctions relief and will not abandon uranium enrichment. President Donald Trump has said he believes Iran wants a deal but warned of consequences if diplomacy fails. Analysts say the success of the talks will largely depend on whether both sides avoid unrealistic demands and show genuine commitment to compromise. For now, the Geneva negotiations signal cautious progress, but the path to a comprehensive agreement remains uncertain. Peruvian President José Jerry has been removed from office by Congress after just 4 months in power, becoming the latest leader to fall amid the country's ongoing political instability. Jerry, 39, rose to the presidency in October following the impeachment of his predecessor, Dina Boluarte, and became Peru's 7th president since 2018. One of the world's youngest heads of state, his time in office was marked by rapid controversy. The most prominent scandal involved secret meetings with Chinese businessman Ji Huayang, which sparked public backlash after footage surfaced, showing the two meeting privately at a restaurant, an incident widely referred to as Chifagate. Jerry apologized but denied any wrongdoing. Political analysts say his legitimacy was fragile from the start, and his removal appears driven as much by political maneuvering as by accountability. Jerry also faced additional allegations during his career, including a sexual assault claim that was later dropped due to insufficient evidence, as well as criticism over government contracts linked to late-night meetings at the presidential palace. His ouster underscores Peru's persistent political turbulence ahead of the upcoming presidential election, with experts warning that a fragmented vote could make it difficult for the next leader to govern effectively. Despite his brief tenure, Jerry is not the shortest-serving president in recent history, a reflection of the deep-rooted volatility that continues to shape Peru's political landscape. U.S. President Donald Trump has assigned his top envoys to handle 2 major global crises in a single day: Iran's nuclear dispute and Russia's war in Ukraine, prompting concern among foreign policy experts. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Presidential Advisor Jared Kushner conducted back-to-back negotiations in Geneva, raising questions about whether the team may be overstretched and capable of securing progress on either front. Trump, who has often highlighted his deal-making ambitions, is seeking additional diplomatic victories after claiming to have resolved multiple conflicts during his current term. Analysts suggest such agreements could strengthen his bid for international recognition, including the Nobel Peace Prize. The Iran talks came first, involving indirect discussions with Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, mediated by Oman. Both sides reported some progress, but indicated that a final agreement remains distant. Meanwhile, the United States continues a significant military buildup near Iran, keeping the possibility of force on the table and heightening fears of a broader regional conflict. Shortly after the nuclear discussions, the U.S. delegation moved on to negotiations aimed at ending Russia's invasion of Ukraine, a war Trump once pledged to resolve quickly. However, expectations for a breakthrough remain low. Critics argue that pursuing multiple high-stakes negotiations simultaneously risks prioritizing speed over the careful, detailed work required for lasting diplomacy. For now, Geneva has become the focal point of two of the world's most sensitive conflicts, with uncertain prospects for resolution. Afghanistan's Taliban government has released 3 Pakistani soldiers who were captured during border clashes in October, in a move mediated by Saudi Arabia. Taliban officials said the handover took place in Kabul and reflects their stated policy of maintaining positive relations with other countries. The release also comes ahead of the holy month of Ramadan. The soldiers were detained during some of the deadliest cross-border fighting since the Taliban returned to power in 2021. Although a fragile ceasefire was later reached, tensions have persisted without a lasting political agreement. Relations between the two neighbors remain strained, with key border crossings periodically closed, disrupting trade and travel along their 600-kilometer frontier. Pakistan has repeatedly accused the Taliban of sheltering militants responsible for attacks inside its territory, an allegation Kabul continues to deny. The prisoner release is being viewed as a potential confidence-building step amid ongoing diplomatic efforts to ease tensions.